Hello, families. I wanted to just take a minute and create a video for you guys, kind of like a parent tutorial of how we can navigate the extended learning plans that the division has pushed out to us for the next 2 weeks. So, what is going to be happening is for the remainder of fourth quarter, the division will be creating the extended learning plans, not us teachers. There are teachers from each school that are a part of the team that is creating these plans. They'll be pushed out to us in advance. So, as a teacher, I'll get an opportunity to kind of go through the plans, understand what it's asking for. I'll send it to you guys, and then I'll be checking in with you at least once a week and giving you specific ways that you can support your child. So, these are going to be very differentiated. Suggestions depending on where your child's ability level is. These plans are a little bit overwhelming when you first see them. I was a little bit overwhelmed with you. I will say that they made leaps and bounds from the original document that they sent us. But I wanted to give you guys some directions on how we're going to access these plans. Most of you guys, I have had you set up with Microsoft Teams already. I've given you instructions on how to get your students' email address and password. And remember, Shelly has reset all second grade passwords as of today. So even if you've logged in before spring break and changed your password, it has been reset today. And I set those, I gave you those instructions on our Class Dojo page, which is right here. So I went ahead and I pulled up the dojo. I will every 2 weeks post a link that goes directly to our Microsoft Team page. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can access these files. You can wait for me to click the link or click the link every time you want, and it'll open up in a new tab, and you can get on that way. You can log in with your student's email address and password directly through Microsoft Office. I have found that it's easiest to download the desktop app and do all of my work through the desktop app. If you'll see down here, when you have the desktop app, I sign in and I just stay signed in. I'm a part of a lot of teams, so it's just the easiest for me. I get little desktop notifications when new things have been posted for our school team page. And so we have one for our classroom as well. Every single person is a part of this. When you either go through Aspen and click on that hyperlink, or you click the link that I have posted on Dojo, you're going to go to this file page right here. This is going to be our class team page. You'll see every 2 weeks, I will post the learner plans, and I'll always put the date right there for you so that you know how to access them. I really enjoy the class page. So if you go to post, you'll see everybody has the ability to type a little comment on there, say hello. I love that you guys have all taken a minute to say hello to me. It just made my whole day to see that. I'll always make sure that I comment back when your student is posting on there. The files page, which I will post a video up here in the file page as well, just in case you ever need to come back to it. We will not be using class notebooks, so do not worry about that. If you go to the assignments, now I will tell you that we are not going to have traditional grades for fourth quarter. If your child was on track to promote to the next grade level, they will promote to the next grade level. That's a non-issue. I know that this is a very strange time for all of us. So what I decided to do is, in order for me to see how your child is doing, a lot of times I need a visual of their work. So what I made was an assignment. At the end of the week, choose one reading and one math assignment. Take a picture of it on your phone. If you're typing it and you want to upload the document, you can turn it in right here under the assignments tab. Now, yours is going to look a little bit different than mine because I am the moderator of this page. So mine will look a little bit different, but you can turn it in directly to me. I'll be able to see that picture. I can post a little bit of, like, great job, love it. Make sure that you're regrouping if it's regrouping in math, a little bit of feedback, and push it back to you guys. So I'm going to hop over to the file page, and I'm going to open up these extended learner plans. I will tell you right off the bat, do not let these overwhelm you. So I will scroll down. So this page right here, this is just an overview of what the expectations are. They're very basic. If you'll see, nobody is asking you to replicate a full school day. You should not be doing 7 hours worth of schoolwork during the day. We want you to do about 30 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of math. There are resource activities for you to do once a day. And then science, because we're in our science unit, we're supposed to be in our science unit for this quarter. 2 times a week, choose one of the activities that are listed in science. So this bingo board has caused a lot of people some distress. So the idea of the bingo board is for it to be more like a choice menu, which your students are all familiar with because we use a choice menu in my classroom. The idea is to get bingo. So if you remember, like back in the day when we played bingo, you can get bingo by going diagonally this way, up and down, horizontally. You could go through this row, what have you. Because you'll notice that some of these are repeating. So don't necessarily just like pick and choose one here, one there, one there. If that's what it's going to take, then do that. But these are repeating activities. So one week you'll want to get maybe bingo this way, and then the next week get bingo, going up and down. So you'll look and say, okay, sit with your child and say, all right, today we're going to try to go diagonally to get bingo. So we have this, and this, and you'll see some spirit days thrown in there just to make it a little more fun. Which of these activities do you want to do today? Pick one. And that kind of just gives them a little bit more choice, some freedom. Hopefully there will be a little less fighting in your house. So everything that you have here, you have access to. So if you look at like this right here, it says read the story Tea with Grandma and answer the 2 questions. So if you scroll down to here, you'll see here's the passage of Tea with Grandma. And then all kinds of pollinators. That's another passage that we use in the bingo board. If you go to here, you'll see it says respond to the reading prompts. Here are the 2 questions that go with to Tea with Grandma, and here is the prompt that goes with all kinds of pollinators. I had some people ask me, what does this word study features T-chart mean? So if you go up to your bingo board, like here's an example. It says read a book, magazine, etc. of your choice. After reading, draw a T-chart on your paper and go back to the text and find examples of each word study feature. I will tell you that every single student in my class was in a totally different spot in word study where we left off. So, for example, some of my students were still learning about vowel consonant E. Magic E makes the vowel say its name. So we have a long vowel sound. That's where some people had stopped. They had maybe just started R control vowels. Some people have mastered R control vowels. Some people have, gone all the way to the end of long team patterns and were already, well into, end of 3rd grade word study work. So just do your best. So if they don't know what OW is, don't worry about it. Have them do the best that they can. A safe bet is going to be find vowel consonant E words in your book. So there are just some examples. So you'll make your T-chart, and on one side you'll say like VCE, and then you'll list some of the words from the book that you read or the story that you read that has VCE words. If you don't have a book at home, you can use either of these passages to find those words. That's totally fine. Okay, this page right here is the virtual learning page. So this is going to take Some technology use. Not everybody has access to technology. Some of you guys are sharing computers at home. I know parents are working. Mom, dad may be working full time, or just mom is working. If you cannot do this, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And a safe option is, if the reading for the day only took like 10, 15 minutes, read for another 10, 15 minutes. Read a book of your choice. Listen to reading. Everybody has access to Epic Books. So you can hop on Epic. They love Epic. Have them put a pair of headphones in and listen along to some of the audiobooks on there as well. So just to clarify, this is 2 weeks worth of work right here in this bingo board. So 1 week you'll do bingo one way, another week you'll do bingo another way. All right, so that is reading. Hopefully that is helpful with reading. So again, here are the passages. Math. So math, they gave you 6 different options of math games, math questions, etc. You can play 21. If you don't have dice, if you go online, you can find like digital dice where you click it and the die will roll, and then you can see what face it lands on. Solving problems, this is word problems. So like this is like playing the card game. That's 1 day's worth of math. You'll just play that game for about 30 minutes. You might get bored a little fast. That's fine. Playing the dice game, that's 1 day's worth of work. If they choose to do solving problems, these are word problems. That's 1 day's worth of work that they will be doing. So don't try to do all of this in 1 day, and don't expect to do every single box for the whole week. Cooking with family, that's just a fun alternative. Include your children when you're cooking dinner that night if you have the patience for it. It does take some fraction work. We have not learned about fractions in our class. They will not have the knowledge to do some of these things. So you might have to work with them a little bit, but make it fun, not frustrating. Telling time, we should all be able to do. Working with money, and then your virtual options. This is always a great option. You can sign in through Clever, and you can access MobyMax. We've never used MobyMax in my classroom. They may be familiar with it from their first grade teacher, but Reflex Math and Sumdog Math, those 2 math accounts that I signed you up with, those are phenomenal, phenomenal resources. Reflex, the more you answer accurately and correctly, there's a little green donut at the top and it starts to fill in. And when you have filled it, it's called getting your green light. I always made my students, when I had this resource at the previous school that I taught, this was something that the district paid for the whole year. Our rule was every day you had to get your green light. That was a non-negotiable. So maybe say, get your green light today. Again, 2 weeks worth of work. Don't stress over it. If it's causing tears or frustration, call it a day. There's no reason for anybody to be frustrated. This is difficult enough as it is. The math problems, they can solve on a piece of notebook paper. They can solve on the computer. If you have like a scratch pad on the tablet, have them, write with their fingers on a scratch pad on your iPad or your tablet. Okay, so that is math. Science, you're just going to do 2 times a week. Okay, what they did was they divided it up by subject. So these are all the different kind of subjects that we cover under science. We have done magnets, we have done matter, we have done seasons, and we touched on the water cycle. Habitats was our upcoming unit. So we have not really touched on habitats. They might have a little bit of prior background knowledge from first grade to it, but what the division did was they gave you just some activity ideas to do with each subject in science, and then they gave you a resource of some virtual activities. Miss Westland has been posting STEM activities. If you want, I can link you to, I think she's either doing it on her Facebook or she finally made a YouTube channel. But if you want to do the STEM activity with Miss Westland, if you have a different STEM activity that you want to do, that's great too. This is just a review of the second grade standards that we've been doing and some activities. Now, this science journal, so let's say you happen to do the magnet activity. Over here in your science journal, you're just going to have them record their observations. You don't have to print this off. You can have them write it on a blank piece of paper, or if you're doing this activity with them, just have them talk about it. So what are some things you observe? A lot of times you can guide them by saying use your 5 senses. You won't use all 5 senses with every activity, so it may not perfectly align, but use your 5 senses is a nice general way to kind of guide their thinking and help them with their observations. And then make an inference, which they should know an inference is like an educated guess or drawing a conclusion. They know that terminology from our reading unit. What is happening? Why do you think that's happening? Okay, give me some evidence as to why that's happening. Again, it may not perfectly align. This is kind of a general template to go with these activities. Just do your best you can. Make it fun, not frustrating. So going down further, resource bingo, just to keep them active and fun. We've got some music, some PE, and some art opportunities. You can make bingo by going diagonal, vertically, horizontally. You can just have them pick an activity out of there just once a day, just to give them something extra fun to do. And then down here, they have added some extensions. So if you have a kid that's like dying, they're so bored, and you have the time to extend their learning, these are great ways that you can take what they're doing and you can add to it to give you some more activities to do at home that kind of go hand in hand with what we've been learning. This page, they just made a sample daily schedule, just how to break it up as a parent, because we are all in different situations. I know my son's in a different school division and he's learning new content and he has like virtual classes he has to sit through. So our schedule's kind of weird and wonky. Do what works for you. So they suggest breaking it up by doing some reading in the morning, having some free time and doing a little bit of science and maybe math in the afternoon and resource. Break it up however you want, but having a visual schedule set for the day really does help a lot of students. And again, some parent resources, the VDOE website, that kind of is where we got all of our guidelines for the division to create these plans, and how to get onto Citrix so that you can access MobyMax and some other programs if you want to go through there. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm sorry that was a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but I know some parents were very overwhelmed by this packet, and it does not need to be overwhelming at all. You will always have these posted on our team page right here. Again, if you're able, download the desktop app. It just seems to be the easiest. Guide your students through this work, let them figure out how to access it, and hopefully maybe after a few weeks of doing this, they'll be a little bit more self-guided with how to work through Microsoft Teams. It's very similar to Google Classroom. If you're a Google person like I am, I prefer Google, but I'm finding this to be a lot more user-friendly than I had anticipated. Allow them, to come to the class page and say hello. Assignments will always be right here. Again, these aren't a grades. This is just a point for a talking point for me for when I call you to say like, hey, I looked at their work and we can help them by doing X, Y, Z. So hopefully you guys have a great week. I will be around if you need anything. Always just let me know. Bye, guys.